Oh, good morning, Voodoo.
What's going on, my man?
Oh, dude, we woke up early this morning. And it's been a very active day so far. Started off with an awesome Twitter space that Freud was hosting there, and then
Yeah,
that rolled into an awesome little meeting that we had, and now we get to sit down with Felipe.
we do, man. Sick individual, Felipe Ortiega. I totally
How's it
butchered that.
going,
I
guys?
promise you. Hey, you're not even on camera yet, bro. You can't be talking. You don't exist yet. There you
Yeah,
are.
yeah. Felipe,
Okay,
what's happening, brother?
I tell, very good, man. Very happy to be here. Very glad to be part of this, and
Felipe, what's
yeah,
happening?
I'm super excited.
Yeah, this guy's a stud, eh?
Yeah, we we really only brought him on here to increase our female viewers because we needed some eye candy. We had told him not to wear the undershirt, but he uh he did.
Yeah,
So
it's yeah, it should go up here. Yeah, I gotta put some tape on. I got some tape there. I can put it against my shoulders.
more skin. So if we go back to the beginning, man, I think for people who don't know how you got into Phantom, I'll tell my part of that story, and then I want to hear your story into NFTs, and then
Hmm.
this journey with Phantom so far.
Hmm.
But I'd have to go back and look at our messages on Twitter to see when I first messaged you. But when I got into crypto and was on, starting to get into NFTs, just a very little bit. Like I really wasn't even buying them yet. I saw some of your first collection on OpenSea, and I didn't see it on OpenSea. I saw you tweeting about it somehow,
Hmm.
and just fell in love with a few of the pieces. And I just knew you were freaking awesome. So as soon as I got into Phantom, I started messaging you like, "Hey, man, there's this place called Phantom, and you need to come here." And it was just
Yeah,
to get
man.
you into the Tomb Heads auctions because I knew if you were in the Tomb Head auction that everybody would see your skill and they would love you. And that's exactly what happened. I remember clearly the very first auction you were in. I was out with our friends. It was someone's birthday party, so I had to be gone. But the whole time I was like totally plugged into the auction during your part. And I remember just in the chat, people like Clockworky just going off about like how incredible you were and how skilled you were as an artist just from seeing your pieces, hearing you talk. And now, I mean, I don't know how many months it's been, but kind of the rest is history. I think you've really established yourself as an incredible artist in the scene, and now your first generative this weekend. So, um, thank you for listening to my DMs. And
Oh
finally,
man, thank you.
at some point, being like, okay, yeah, I'll get on a Zoom and talk to this weird guy who wants me to go to some blockchain I've never heard of. But I'm so glad you did. But yeah, man, tell us about your journey as an artist, and because I know you're like professionally trained and you've been practicing your art for a long time, and then what it's been like in the NFT world for you.
Yeah, for sure, man. First of all, thank you so much. I mean, I'm always so aware, and I always have it in mind that you were the person who recruited me. I remember perfectly that day how it was, and I'll get to that point. And I'll start off right. Yeah, I started studying animation in New York City, traditional animation, because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was out of high school, right? Which is very typical and normal for a lot of people. But my dad was like, "You like to draw all the time, right? You're always drawing." So I heard, you could do animation. I was like, "Animation? Like, what's that? Like, oh, cartoons." So yeah, of course, And I started reading about it, and I saw that it in the when you would read about it in Google, it's like if you're ready to like not have a life, but you love what you do, then animation is definitely like a good route for you, right? I was like, okay, I'll try it out, and I moved to New York and I went to School of Visual Arts in the city, and it was a life changing experience because you're part of like a lot of talent, right? There's a lot of people that take art very seriously. That's something incredible about the United States. The art is considered it's like something very sacred. And so you would see all this talent, all these people very motivated trying to get somewhere, and that kind of pushed you to always do your best. And the cool thing about traditional animation was well, it was all on paper, so it was like all like the old school traditional style where you're flipping papers with 4 fingers, and so it was you had to have a lot of patience, man. You're just drawing on pieces of paper, you're scanning each piece of paper into Photoshop, you're erasing the background, then you're putting it into After Effects. And so as soon as we graduated, they were like, oh, by the way, traditional animation, no more. It doesn't exist, right? It's like, what the fuck, like you spent all this money doing this, but now everything is like with this programs, it's 2D, 3D, all in the computer. But there was a very good lesson learned there. It was, again, patience, right? So that patience, later on, I'd realized that you would apply it to any art form. Like, you push yourself, you're patient to not end the project. Like, you do a piece of paint, you do a painting, you're not like in a hurry to finish it. You're patient. You're gonna wait till tomorrow. You're gonna wait till after tomorrow, and then you just keep retouching it, and then the ending result is the best you could have done. I think that's the best thing I got from studying traditional animation. And then after that, I moved to Hollywood in California, and I was working as a storyboard artist. And so I was getting scripts and doing thumbnails, and then the director would approve, make some changes, and then we'd come up with something cleaner. I did that for like 5 years. Worked at pretty cool studios over there, and then I decided to do a clothing brand, which was called Sick Individual, and that's where it came, how it started. And I did that for a couple of years. We were able to put the T-shirts in Virgin Megastores in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, but it didn't really work out because I was completely new at this. You got to be on top of your game if you're going to be working with all these people, and also like the final price was a little too expensive because we had a middleman, selling it to them, so the final customer would get it super pricey. But the brand is still alive, and the designs were there, and then I started freelancing for a bunch of years, doing different things, and then like fast forward a bunch of years, then I learned about NFTs, right? I start hearing about this, and a friend from California writes to me. He's like, "Man, you got to look into NFTs." I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm not put too much attention. I'm going to continue doing this thing I'm doing here. And then a guy from Lima, Peru, tells me, "Hey, you got to look into NFTs." So okay, this guy from California is telling me this, and then my friend from Peru is telling me the same thing. There's got to be something important about this. So I looked it up on YouTube, and I'm not kidding. I was 4 hours straight hooked, just looking like, what the hell, and seeing the opportunities. And I remember, obviously, the person that everyone was talking about was Beeple, and then other cases. I was like, what the hell, is this for reals? Is this a joke? And then 4 hours. And then I remember I came downstairs. I went to have lunch with my parents. I sat down. I was like, Mom, Dad, I know what I'm going to do now. Because I obviously, like, I was on a path with different paths, right? Just like doing a little bit of everything. But there wasn't a real focus. So I was like, I know what I'm going to do. It's like, what is that? NFTs. Obviously, explaining it to them would take probably 2 months for them to actually get it. But yeah, so I did my OpenSea thing, which is the platform where everyone is able to just do it freely, right? And I started looking. You need a Twitter. I was like, a Twitter? Seriously, man? I've never wanted a Twitter, like, because I would relate it to politics and all this, like people just arguing. I was like, okay, I'll do the Twitter. Okay, how do I get my first follower? Damn, how do I get my first follower? What am I supposed to do? So it was a slow process, probably like 5-6 months into it, and then Voodoo reached out to me because I was doing what you're supposed to do according to YouTube videos. Just start tweeting, start sharing your thing, go to people's comments, start commenting. And then Voodoo reached out to me, and he told me, like, hey man, you should check into FTM. And one of the things that I'm trying to apply lately, and I tell this to my friends and my family, is that movie Yes Man from Jim Carrey, like he would always say no, like, to everything. And then he starts saying yes, and these opportunities start showing up, and he just becomes like a happier person. Obviously, that's a movie, and it's very exaggerated, but I said I'm going to start applying that. So, and I had been applying it for a couple months, and then Voodoo reached out to me, and he said the FTM thing. He did it twice, so I'm super thankful, man. Because I remember you did it once, and then like some time passed by, and then you did it again. So I was like, man, you know what? I respect the fact that he's actually doing this. He could not do it easily, but he's reaching out to me. So it's like, so I looked into FTM, and I saw the community, and I told my brother, I'm going to do this. Yes, the yes man theory, the yes man philosophy. I'm going to do this. Why not? Right. So I started, he told me about the auctions. He got me in there. I had a call with him and Plot, who also super thankful with Plot because he's helped me out tremendously. He's given me a lot of his time. And yeah, the auction started. I was like, what the hell is this for reals? The first one was great. I was like amazed by how positive everyone is with the writings, with the memes, with the gifs and everything. It's just like super, just happy people. And yeah, man, it's since then it's been like probably 4 months, and I'm just super happy to be able to do the first generative, which also took time to learn about, understand. Um, it's a learning process. I'm doing it every single day. And yeah, I'm super grateful, super happy to be here, and very excited to see how this comes out, and very excited to see what happens in the next couple months, the next couple years. Obviously, the intention is not to only grow as an artist, but to collaborate with everyone, because I see that's very important. And it's so nice. It's not about me, me, me. This is all about, it's like a family, right? So I also had the opportunity of going to the auction in Austin, which was also the Yes Man thing, right? Because I was like, man, I'm gonna go all the way there for an auction. And I remember I was also talking to my parents, like, should I do it? Should I not? They're like, well, And then the answer was like, not sure. And I went to sleep. I woke up the next day. I was like, you know what? I gotta go. I gotta go. Something is gonna be worth it. And it was worth it, man. From the moment I met everyone, we had our first drinks, and it was just worth it, man. And I ended up staying in Texas for like, I think, a month. And yeah, man. So it's been an amazing experience.
You stayed down there for a month after the auction?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no way.
because the thing is, my passport had expired, my American passport. So it expired like a month before. So the process of getting it renovated was gonna take a while. And I wrote to the embassy, and they're like, well, if you have an American passport, you can go to the States. We'll allow you in. So I was like, okay. So I went there, and when I got to the airport, I was kind of nervous, right? At the airport, they're like, why is your passport expired? It's like, please go this way. They took me to this room.
Yeah.
There was like 50, 60 people just like laying on the couch, just chilling, right? I was like, they don't even look concerned to be here. They're just like, it almost like they knew they were gonna be there. They're like, oh man, we're here. And
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
was like, I told one of the officers, I was like, I have a plane to catch in like an hour. Do you think I'm gonna make it? It's like, yeah, you got a passport. You're next. And they try to intimidate me and all that stuff. I was like, listen, I explained everything. Like, I wrote to the embassy. They're like, okay, here you go. Here's your passport. Just get the hell out of here. So I stayed there for a month because I had to renovate the passport and all that stuff. But I did a little bit of traveling, and yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool.
Okay, so I
Great
got a bunch of
experience.
things I want to touch on here. Because you mentioned you went to school in New York. Where are you from originally?
From Peru, from Lima. That's where I am right now.
Okay, right on. Oh, right on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah. So what? All right, let's get into that for a second because you did mention that you had a buddy in Peru that brought up crypto and NFTs to
yeah,
you. What is
yeah.
the crypto and NFT scene like in Peru so far?
Well, it's still. I mean, if you're going to compare it to the rest of the world, you would say it's still just in the beginnings, right?
Yeah.
There are, and then I got to be honest, like the percentage of people aware of it in the whole population is probably like two,
Right.
3%,
Right.
right? But I think it's all a matter of time. Every country evolves according to where they are status wise,
Mhm.
and but the people that are aware of it, it's still very new. Like when I tell
It's just
people
from a Westerner standpoint, it seems like the South American countries have taken more adoption to it, and it might just be just from the global economic standpoint of where they are, because a lot of countries in South America are operating on the U.S. dollar, or a currency that's
Yeah,
been getting devalued. So it feel
yeah.
from the outsider's perspective, it looks like the South American area is kind of hitting adoption a little bit faster than everybody else.
No, absolutely, it is the case. Like the government is like starting to consider it. They're wanting to introduce it with certain plans. Um, but I mean, when it comes to crypto, yes, there is a lot of awareness. I was being more specific with the NFTs, but with
Right,
crypto, yes,
right.
there's like, yeah, there's a lot of awareness. There's countries that are, like Brazil, Argentina, El Salvador. We know it's like it's pretty big there. Um, well, that's Central America, but when it comes to the NFT space, yeah, it's. I think there's a lot of people that still need to learn about it. When like I was saying, like when I talk to some friends and I tell them what I'm doing, some of them say, "Really, that's awesome," and some of them are like, "What is an NFT?" Right?
Yeah.
So, which is
Yeah, see,
understandable.
I'm surprised you get the "that's awesome" because I usually get the "what's an NFT?" or "oh, it's a scam."
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. There's also people like they have like the negative theory, but I'm like, man, once it's understandable that you think that way, but like when you're inside of the community, you realize it. It's not. It's incredibly real.
yeah,
You know.
well, I mean, and already listening to your story, you're somebody that uh, if there's ever somebody that's going to bring a real world value to NFTs, it seems like it's going to be you. You mentioned, clothing. I personally see that as a massive avenue going forward with the Uman bucket hat and then the Galactic Gang, Chris Dyer and his shop. I know that these Web3 gates are being created for merch stores, so that if maybe
Hmm.
if I hold a sick individual NFT, all of a sudden by accessing your merch store, I can have access to a discount. So these
Yeah.
tools are starting to be implemented. Uh, you ran over
So
the
tinfoil, I've got an
freelancing.
idea there. Let me
Okay,
let me
go
interrupt
shoot.
you. I got an idea for you. Let's just drop some alpha. So, um, Philippe, what you could do is with especially with these newer designs you're doing your new collection with like the faces and those things is just like your t-shirts used to have like those similar
Hmm.
type faces on them is uh, an idea is if somebody buys the NFT and holds it, you could have that shirt in your merch store and then release it like once the NFT is bought, you release a shirt with that, and then the holder of that NFT gets like 25% or 30% royalties every time that shirt is bought. So
That's a
that's
really
what
good idea.
Phantom. So shout out to Phantom jerseys. They're doing that. So they just changed their model so that if you buy one of the NFTs, they'll also have it for sale. That jersey or whatever is for sale in their store, but the holder of the NFT gets 25% or 30% of the royalties off every sale. And so
Right.
like that'd be sweet because I can't afford to buy all your pieces at auctions, but I'd love to buy the shirts or buy sweatshirts or whatever with it on
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
can be sporting it. But it'd only be right that the owner would get some of that revenue. So,
right.
anyways, you can think about that later, but
Yeah.
just do it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I appreciate the tip, and it's crazy how you realize like how like there's so many ways of actually doing like a business with the NFTs. I mean, like I'm sure you guys know much more about it, but for me, it's all like I'm just like touching the surface and starting to like discover it. But I know there's like so many ways to do it as a brand, as a business, but at the same time, making people enjoy the benefits of it, right? Of being able to wear a shirt, being able to get a physical or whatnot. So, sorry, you're gonna say something.
y- yeah. Well, I do. Yeah, I think that the whole brand, like, because you touched into clothing, because your art quality is just unbelievable. Uh, Yet you come from an
Thanks.
animation background. To me, that's another step in this process. I know Umans is looking at uh, working out deals with studios for an animated series.
Wow.
Where are you looking in bringing back potentially your animation background into NFTs?
Well, it's a project that I have for this month coming that I didn't want to share yet, but I don't know if I should.
Oh, how fun.
But but yeah, for this, I'm working with another artist. I'll say his name soon, but we want to do some combine some animation with some sound, and have animated loops that go with the
Very
sound.
cool.
And yeah, we're very excited for this project, and we're dedicating June to it. So yeah, I mean, animation is something that you can do some amazing things with it, especially when you combine it with sounds and you make it loop and all this stuff. There's a plenty of it out there, but usually you get to see a lot of the 3D animation. And what we're going to be doing is 2D animation, so it's going to have that
Mm,
the same individual feel, which is like the kind of cartoony, trippy, with subtle animation and color movement, let's say. So
very cool.
yeah, next project.
So we're getting into it. That's exciting. Um,
Yeah.
all right. So you mentioned coming into the space. Uh, you're watching YouTube videos. All right, we got to make a Twitter. What has this community building aspect been like for you? Because you don't have your own Discord yet or anything like that, right?
Not yet. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
So yeah. So what has been this? If you were to give a tip for an artist coming into the space, what has your experience been like in growing your Twitter, finding that first follower, uh, taking these steps to kind of get where you're at, where you're phenom in our space right now.
I would say, like, something I realize about in my experience is that the more time has passed by and the more I've been more involved and had a following, I would take it a little more seriously. Not more seriously, but I would invest more time. I would say from the beginning, from the get go, invest all the time, because don't
Mm,
wait for things to happen for you to start taking the thing seriously. Like, take it seriously from the beginning, because this is something to be taken seriously. There's so many opportunities. There's so many great things that could happen. So in my case, like I said, like before Voodoo gave me a shout out, it was like 6 months of just once in a while posting on Twitter, just once in a while get in there. It wasn't an everyday thing. Now every day I'm there. Every day I'm trying to interact. Every day I'm trying to participate, because things are starting, like the wheel started to turn. But I would say from the beginning, do that work. Invest your time into it, because later on, like the winnings, the gains will compensate that.
no, that's awesome. And the idea of putting your time, knowing how to work, this kind of touches back on a kind of a part of your story that you ran over. The time of your freelancing as an
Mm-hmm.
artist. I always find this so interesting because I've always grown up in the work the 9 to 5 job family, and I have such a admiration for artists and the risk takers that go, that's not the lifestyle I want to live. I'm willing
Mm-hmm.
to do freelancing.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing during that time, and what is that time like, and how has that kind of prepared you for this crypto industry?
For during the freelancing days, let's say.
Yeah.
Um, well, this is a huge difference in when it comes to time dedication, right? When I was freelancing, it was basically, it doesn't push you too much. I mean, it pushes you to. I mean, in my particular case, freelancing was always like push myself to always like survive and have something where I felt comfortable. It was always like that. I got this project, I get an income, and that's for this amount of time, and another one, and another one, and then that was my case, right? I know that there's a lot of freelancers that actually do really well, but it is like a hustle, right? And you're going from project to project and all of this. The switch to the NFT world, and I think the most beautiful thing about it is that you get to work on your own thing, your own style.
Mm.
People compensate you because of your own art, and that's the most beautiful thing out there, man. To be able to do your own style. It's basically an art gallery, a digital art gallery where people walk in and they just like look at paintings. In this case, NFTs, and I like this. I like what this guy represents. I like what he's expressing here. So this is like this is a dream job, man. I gotta say
Yeah.
it for
So,
sure.
a lot of artists coming into the space, um, you look at the NFT space and you go, I need to create an animal PFP to be
Hmm.
successful. Um,
Mm.
your case,
Yeah.
you have busted through this industry without having to do that. Um, if yeah, let's speak on that for a minute because there's a lot of artists that are coming into this space with that same mindset of, do I need to create
Mm.
some animal PFP to be successful, or can I just create my own path?
I think perhaps in the beginning it could have worked, but I think we're kind of deep into it where you can't be repetitive. I mean,
Mm,
every day, how many new artists are there? Just every day. So if you're coming into the space just thinking about like the monetary gains and thinking, oh, what's the formula to do that? And probably not the best case scenario. It's probably not going to work out. When I came into the space, to me it was just like a click. It was like I discovered the NFT world, and I knew what I had, and I knew what I had to offer because I had so many years of accumulating art. I was like, this is perfect. Like I got to try it out. And
mm,
my friend from California would always be like, you got to do NFTs, man. What the hell? Like you're wasting your time. So for me, it's super important to bring something outside the box, something that's unique, not to repeat yourself. That's how you'll get noticed. Like most of the pieces you guys have behind you, I can recognize the artist there, and if you look at them, there each one is has their own style, and you can tell who is this. Oh, I know who this artist is. I know that's a Shas guy. Like I know this is a human. Like you can tell.
right.
Uh, and that's important to have something that represents you, your own style. Um, and I want to share this. Like I remember when I was in school, I had we had this class called animation development, and it was basically career in animation. And the teacher once said, "It's so important to have your own style." And I remember thinking,
Mm,
"No, it's not. No, it's not." Like in my head, like I didn't know what I was talking about. But I remember thinking, "No, I can do this style. I can do this style. I can do this style." That's what's important. And then you come to realize after many years, no, he was right. And it's okay to be able to do different styles, right? But it's the most important thing is to have something that represents you, because that's at the end that's what is going to help you, be remembered, have your name, and all that kind of stuff. So I would say, dude, try to think in something unique. Don't be repetitive. Maintain the formula, maybe, but yeah, man, for sure.
yeah, I think you're spot on there because I think there is an aspect if you don't find your own style, um, you're just going to be chasing whatever the hype is, and because this is such a
Hmm.
new industry, we've seen that hype is always changing. So you're just going to be always a step behind in terms of
Hmm.
rather you blaze your own path and then the industry just happens to fall into your place, which
Hmm.
seems to be what's happening right now with your project we got coming out Friday. Let's talk about the project for a second. um yeah, what was it like doing all this? When I look into the details of some of these pictures that were generated, the nostalgia for me is just out of this world. There's so many different traits involved in all of this that I'm like, man, I'm gonna be spending all my fannies minting because I need this trait and these toes and this foot. Uh, let's get into some of your inspirations. What do you got coming into this collection?
Well, it's obsession, and it obviously the first thing that came in my head was like, how can I pay tribute to this coin and this world which is helping me so much. So like that was the concept has to be. Initially, it was Phantom. That was initially what I wanted to pay tribute to, and just the logo is so beautiful, right? It's like a
Mm,
ruby. It's like a jewel. So um, I thought of the idea of like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, right? Where he's like, "My precious," he's like he needs this thing, right? So I was like, okay, like that's
that's
that's gonna
cool.
be the idea. Yeah, that's gonna be the idea, but let's do it in a sick individual style, which is like it's not just like the body of a creature. It's there's so much more going on. There's all this stuff going on. So because I noticed that that's what people like to see, and yeah, it's always especially for a generative, it gives you the opportunity to play around with a lot of layers and make them interesting. So uh, I started doing different creatures, and then the topics start coming out, and yeah, everything was spontaneous. Nothing was like super planned out. So maybe I would do, okay, now I got to do eye number seven, right? What's eye number seven going to look like? Oh, well, I'll look at the previous eyes. Look, this has this shape, this has this shape, this has this shape, this has this shape. Okay, number seven has to go upwards. It can't go downwards. It can't go left. It's got to go upwards. So so there's like difference between all of them basically. And then the topics came out, like the Adams family portraits was perfect for the toes, right? Because it's like, like five toes. What could I put there? Like, who are
Yeah, so this is
five
what,
famous?
yeah, where are you just coming up with these ideas from? Like, are you going through like just old 90s stuff? Like where are you just coming bringing these memories out from?
It really is very spontaneous, man. It's just like I mean, I just sit there and I'm thinking, well, if it doesn't come quickly, I pass to the next thing. Like, so I'm looking at the toes, I'm like five things. If I'm thinking, okay, not there, but I'll go to the eye, and then I'll go back to here, and but it's just very like this. At least this project has been like that, right? This particular generative allows me to be very free. There's some pieces where I do have to think much more of the final message, like the one-on-ones and at the auction. There are some pieces that they required a little bit more seriousness, let's say, in trying to get the right message out there. It's just a focus on a particular topic, but the generatives allow me to be very playful, let's say, you know.
Well, it's
Yeah, what I
funny that
like
you
about
used the
that.
word.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was going to say it's funny that you use the word free in a generative with 22 layers, where everything has to fit correctly. But I know what you mean. It's free in the theme and the tone, and it is more playful. Um,
Yeah.
but the limits, what was the difference like for you in doing something like this? Because obviously all your art just has crazy little vignettes, like little movie clips, essentially, all going on, little stories to be told, but having to make sure that like being constricted and confined to make sure that each space on the canvas, they all flowed together, all 9 layers or all 9 traits for 22 layers all fit together. Like,
Mhm.
as was that harder than you thought it would be? Was it easier? Like, what was that like? Because I don't know of anyone. Maybe there are, but I have not interacted with anyone who did something this ambitious as far as the layering goes. And so I'm blown away by it, man.
I appreciate it so much. I think you know what it is. It's the animation. It's the animation that which allowed me to do it because
Mm.
in animation you work with keyframes, right? So I work with a program called Adobe Animate. So it's basically keyframes. So you animate through it. So I would in one frame I would do the whole drawing in this of I would complete one of the creatures. In the second frame I would do another one, so I could flip through the keyframes and make sure that it's always on the same space, right? And animation is also all about layers, right? It's all about layers. You got the torso in one layer, you got the legs in another layer, you got the knees in one layer, you got the arms, the forearms. So you're animating like the character. So when it comes to layering, it's something that I was familiar with, and so I was able to. You know what? I think the trick or the secret is just planning it out first. First, it's the planning. Before you even start drawing anything, you plan it out. So I'm actually going to release a video today where you will be able to see like all the layers one after the other. Like just go one off. Do, 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 do. So then
Uh,
there's a layer. Yeah, I'm gonna release it today, and it's in you will see one layer where it's just the body. So I started with the body, and then then I put the jewel there. So that's like the base. That's the important part.
mm.
Now every detail on top can go crazy, but at the end I did go through everything, and then I start with the rulers putting the lines, and I noticed it like the nose and sometimes would cover the left eye. So I was like, oh, that's a no. Like you can't no. So I realized, okay, I got to go through every single one of them, make sure that the nose is never on top of the left eye. So I put the lines and start uh, going through each keyframe, and the noses would change like this, and then I would just make sure it wouldn't pass that line. And I did the same thing with the eye, put it on a space, and then go through the keyframes, and then they would just move like this, and they wouldn't go out of the line. So I was like, okay, now this is good. And then and then it's just the planning out, right? And then everything
Yeah,
else is
the
just
attention to detail. Yeah,
going a
the
little
attention to
wild
detail
after.
insane.
Dude, I'm very glad that you guys notice it. I appreciate it.
So I got couple more things I want to touch on because I think these are two of the most important things as like the Fantom community, I guess. Uh, let's talk about your experience with the Fantom community, because you had originally launched on OpenSea, right? You're on ETH, and then just found unbelievable success here on Fantom. So just let's talk about that for a second.
Oh, the community of Phantom has been incredibly supportive, um, more than I could have expected. Just very positive. Like I was mentioning before at the auctions, like just like the energy, before just people writing, bah, 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 bah. Almost seems like everyone was on crack, man. It was just like like going crazy, but it's just like that positive energy. Like everyone's like super happy to excited to be there and supportive of each other, and that motivates a lot, man. When your surroundings are positive and people are recognize anything that you do that they like, and they tell you about it. Like sometimes I would post something, and there's been so many people, and I'm very grateful to all of them, and I'm very aware of who they are, and they write to me like, oh, I love this, and it's like a sincere response that just pushes you, man. That just pushes you, and it's like a
Yeah.
family. That's a cool thing about Phantom, is that you get to know one another, right? I'm sure in other coins, it's like so many people. It's like it's almost like a corporate office compared to like a small studio. Like in a
Right.
small studio, everyone's like buddies. In a corporate huge office, like everyone's like robotic. So
Right.
that's what like Phantom feels like. And going at the auction in Austin was just part of it, man. It was just like it was a family, and everyone was knew each other what for 4 hours or 5 hours, and we were all hugging each other. You know what I'm saying? And then so the next piece I did for the auction was called Family, and I did a tribute to all the artists that attended, and and that was because it just felt right. So I don't know if I would have done that in any other situation or for any other event. But that one was like, dude, I got to pay tribute to these guys. And every time I was doing like everyone, I was like, I'm remembering memories with that specific person. So yeah, man, that's what the community is like here at FTM.
Now that's awesome to hear, because yeah, I mean, I've had conversations with artists before where uh, they just look at other chains as, oh, there's not enough buyers there. Where you realize like, oh no, you don't need to have a million buyers. Like you just need
Mm.
a support family. Like is exactly what you said. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Voodoo, you got any questions?
I don't. I mean, we've just time wise, we got to wrap it up. But I am excited because originally, before we even knew about, we've been working on this project, or you have, for a while. So before we knew about, being able to split the mints between chains and things, it's called Phantom Obsession. And you talked about how beautiful the Phantom logo is. But just for a second, I thought it was very important to introduce your work to the AVAX community, because as Potluck's been growing, it's merging the two communities together. And what I've noticed, especially with NFTs, because I'm not so much on the DeFi, I'm not personally on the DeFi scene in AVAX, but now with the NFT side, I feel a lot of that same family connection. I feel like there's incredible loyalty between the community, and they've just got they've got incredible people in the Twitter sphere who have just
Yeah.
supported us. We've been supportive of them, and so I just kind of put it on you last minute. I said, "Hey, I think it'd be important that we open this up. We do part of it on AVAX, and it's been you made the AVAX jewels, which really do look like a ruby. Those things are incredible, and they just look amazing. And it's been so good to see the reception, and just to see countless new people who have never been exposed to your art get exposed. And so now you're going to have art on ETH, art on Phantom, and art on AVAX, and it's just the beginning of your journey, man. So I'm
Uh,
so excited to see it for you.
Thanks, man. Voodoo, you know how grateful I am. I've told you many times, and I'll keep on telling you, man.
Well, yeah,
And
man.
to all you guys, for your support.
Well, you just name
No,
your
amazing.
first son Voodoo, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, and if I have another one, tinfoil. Tinfoil seems about right.
There you go.
I don't know, man. I think Plot Twist may need one before him.
That's for the girl. That's for the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be so lucky to have that name.
That'll keep her off the dating scene.
Plotista,
Yes. Well,
plotista.
well, man, it's been awesome having you on. We're going to finish up the show, just Tinfoil and I running through these topics at lightning speed. And wanted to tell everyone who's listening that tomorrow for our cross-chain auction, uh, Felipe, sick individual here, is going to be basically our color commentator if you watch sports in the auction. So he'll be co-hosting with Tinfoil and I. And just because he's got such incredible depth of insight into art, and so would love to have somebody to comment on the art. I love being on Tombheads, and when they have guests or like guest hosting, like Freud was hosting
Mhm.
this last week, and he's going to be
Yeah,
a host going forward. And just listening to
yeah,
him be able to comment on the artistic process and the artist. Chronic is the same way for me, and so I
yeah,
just wanted to have that aspect because right now we just have two collectors. We got people with an eye
Yeah.
for art and who love collecting it, but it's awesome to have somebody's voice in there. And I'm just excited for the community to get to know you more. So we're excited for that. We'll see you tomorrow, man. And thanks for taking the
yeah.
time to be on NFT Alpha.
No, thank you guys very much, very much, and I'm
Felipe,
looking
take
forward
it
for
easy,
tomorrow,
buddy.
man.
Yeah, so
Take
excited.
care, guys.
It's awesome.
Peace.
All right.
All right, man.
What a gem.
So we got
What
to
a
fly.
gem.
I'm having
Let's
an
do this.
echo here.
Me too. What's minting right now? All right, let's run through a couple. Let's start with one of our biggest communities on Fantom, the Podtown community, the Necos. They have the Cyber Rabbies that are minting on ETH, and there's not a whole lot left. It's actually really close to sellout. It's a great round of funding for that project. What Podtown is building, again, I think it's super beneficial to be bringing in people from another chain into this Fantom community. So I want to shout out the Cyber Rabbies. We just did a mint of Necro, and he's actually got another project where he did the traits for it, the Fantom Necromancers. So they're currently minting. Total supply is only 500. They're about 100 minted at the moment. Keep running through some. Unidentified Flying Objects was one that I personally really like the art for. Some of the tributes I've seen are just incredible. And the styling kind of reminds me of like the squatties and stuff, which I really like. But they're minting. It's another smaller supply. It's only 555 at 40 FTM. So I'd really like to see that mint out. I'll mention again Turnt Turtles, because I think that's like one of my favorite projects that's currently minting. In terms of you get a beat with an awesome animated PFP, and then seeing some alpha this morning. FTM Dead, he dropped some form of new art, and I seen a Twitter comment yesterday that led me to believe that you're gonna want to mint the Gen 2 Gimpies for this new collection that is coming. So
Yeah,
I want to mention that.
I've been given some previews a few weeks back, some top secret previews on Discord. So I would concur that you're going to want to own the Gen 2 Gimpies if you want this one, because I'm not sure you'll be able to mint this one. So just a little alpha there. I wanted to add a couple. Crisps, who just an awesome artist in his own right, but he had multiple pieces in our community collection. Was really one of the first people to help kick off the collection. Like when we opened it up for submissions, he submitted like all of his in the first few days and just really started getting the submissions flowing. He has a collection that's minting here in a few hours today, called the Super Happy Fun Bears,
Mm.
which which is very happy. Makes me uh, unlike FTM Dev, which is like the bad news bears or like the druggy
Yeah.
sad bears. Um, these are the super happy fun bears. So they can hang out in my wallet together and influence each other, see who wins. But excited for that later. And then I'm trying to pull up the name because I always butcher this one. There's a project that is minting today on AVAX called Metropius. It's like
Mm.
Metro and Pius, Metropius. This project, they're of like award winning. I can't talk today. Animation, and they do comics. This is a film and TV project on Avalanche. They've got metaverse plans. They're a fully doxed team. Super excited for that. If you check them out, Metropius minting today. It's 2 AVAX, so it's a little pricier, but you're also not just getting a PFP. It's an awesome PFP, but you're getting a lot more than that with the project. Then our friends Cloudheads are still minting on. You can get those on Campfire. Really just love that art, love the team behind it. So I wanted to point those out as well. So
I'm glad you brought up AVAX for a second because we also have our Black Cat Dead. There's 40 left, and that
yeah,
staking goes live. So there's only 40 left on Campfire for that. Then there's also I seen some alpha on. There's another project that's minting on Campfire, and I'm looking at it right now. There's there's about 150 left. It's called The Spot. I seen a tweet yesterday or the day before. They're bringing an awesome PFP collection as like their Gen 2. It looks like great art. So essentially, it's going to be like a mint. You're going to want to mint the spot that is currently minting to get one of the Gen 2 PFPs that's coming.
nice, awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Oh man, I am seeing people. Some people are listing the Hunters of Evil for 0.19 AVAX. Good thing they're all getting scooped, but man, good thing I didn't see those first. I would have been buying them all.
Yeah. So I guess we're on underrated projects. Well, I'll
There you go.
start with what I think is big time underrated at this very moment, and it was our mint that happened yesterday, the Potluck Community Collection. I'm looking at a floor right now of 110, so that's a 2x, and that piece on the floor is incredible. Again, these are all one of ones, and I think way down the line as we just continue to build on Fantom and Fantom, just continues to move it up the rankings. This collection is going to have some weight in the future, as especially some of these artists that have participated continue to build names and stuff. There was an awesome moment. We mentioned it on their space earlier. Bimps, the Quookie Ducks. So, yeah, and he participated in this community collection. Put in two pieces, an orc and a duck, an orc and an elf duck. The orc duck sold for over 200 Fantom, and he made a tweet about it saying that it was actually the biggest like sale he's ever had, and that led into one of his legendaries selling for 420 Fantom, and then the two that were currently listed at the moment ended up selling as well. So it was just to see that happen, like that's what we wanted to happen. That's
Yeah,
exactly what we wanted to happen with these artists.
100%. This is one of the, I'm proud of all of our projects, but I'm really proud of this one because of the light it's shining on so many artists and just on the community that we have, mostly in Phantom, but then having AVAX artists come over, we had Tezos artists come over and participate. It's just incredible to see. And I'm currently sitting here looking at the collection on my screen and keeping my eye on a few of these that I'm just going to wait a few
Mm-hmm.
days to see if the
Mm-hmm.
seller is going to start lowering the prices, because if they don't sell, people start to freak out after one day. So we'll see if we got some real paper hands because I bought one this morning from Chronic. one of his pieces, his Goddess of the Cave one, and
Oh,
he might have done two goddesses, but I bought one of them, and it's sick. I'm super excited. So yes, incredible collection. Super excited. You got another one you want to throw out before? Because we gotta
yeah, a
be
couple
quick.
more
We'll skip artist
couple on.
spotlight because we'll just skip that and then go to labs.
Okay, so a couple more underrateds that I got. I've noticed Gantom stones. This was the first ever GAN project on Phantom. Um, it has something is going on where there's a new project coming into the space that is. I'm not sure if it's the developer from Gantom Stones that's working with this new project or what the relationship is, but you're going to want to have a Gantom Stone for this new project that's coming. Uh, Something with the highest order. I forget the name of the project, but yeah, I've been seeing Gantom Stone's been selling lately, and it's honestly one of my favorite projects. That was one of the early historical Fantom NFTs. Uh, Pocket Pals, I have to mention Pocket Pals because just what they're building is just insane. I absolutely love Shifted. You mentioned him, just the energy that he brought to the auction house was incredible. He's an incredible dev idea guy. Love what the Pocket Pals team is building. Um, the cult, I mean, there's still Ghostly's minting. There's still Pop Scully's minting. I think the Scullys are underrated right now. I just think what that is going forward, that's a wicked community alone going forward. But then the devs and the relationships with Tulip DAO, and I just think that what they're forming are is good things. You want to be a part of that ecosystem.
Definitely, I agree with all those. I concur. I'm getting distracted. I'm trying because you said those Podtown the Cyber Rabbies were about to min out. So I
Yeah,
looked, and yeah, there's only like 150 left or whatever. But they got these bundles, man, and they sold
dude, that's
10 of these
smart,
bundles.
eh?
Yeah, it's like super awesome.
Yep.
But basically like a loot box bundle, which is awesome. Um, and the top one, there were 10 of these. They've sold 9 out of 10 for 5 ETH each.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And they got
Yeah.
12 of these other pro bundles
And it
for
like
2
it
ETH.
guarantees you land and a legendary or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, land piece, a cyber hooter. I don't know what a cyber hooter is, but I mean, I think that's probably the only hooter you're getting. Um,
Yeah, that I mean
uh,
that Pottown team is something else. They what they're building is incredible. They're going to be a massive benefit to our ecosystem, big time.
yeah, no, that's well, I'm too poor for that, man. Whatever they
Oh,
got going
I got
on.
another one. Because you brought it up. We're gonna have games night coming up soon. Bobbleheads.
Yes,
That look. I
finally.
cannot wait, man.
Me neither. So they're still a little bit out from the token release, but they wanted to go ahead and get like the beta version of the game out, and it's awesome, man. You can like it's not a turn-based game like a lot of them that are games play on chain. I mean, it's like a one-on-one, kind of looks like Mario World, kind of looks like a Street Fighter type thing mixed together. You just kind of like you can jump around. There's a lot of special moves, so like you keep keep hitting buttons and I don't know, like you
Yeah,
spin.
it plays like Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Super Smash Bros. Um, and so talking with them about a few things to make it really special for our tournament nights. But yeah, as soon as they have it, I mean, you can already get on and play against each other. But as soon as they have a few kinks worked out, we're gonna have some epic like game night tournament nights. So super excited about that. So yeah, the bobbleheads team's incredible. They've been working really hard and excited to see what happens there. So labs projects. In with that, well, we've already talked a lot about it, but just to cover the final details, Obsession, Minting Friday. We're going to keep the same schedule we've been doing recently, which is the mint party at 7 p.m. UTC, the pre-sale at 7:30, and then the public mint at 8. But I will warn you, and if you're watching this, you probably already know this. If the pre-sale, typically after about 15 minutes or so, it's kind of everyone's used their allocations. So if the pre-sale has like wound down and kind of stopped, we may go ahead and 5-10 minutes early launch the public sale, at least on the Fantom side, because we got, 200 people in a Discord who all want to mint. We don't want them waiting around for forever. So, but then also this will be the first one where on the AVAX side, we actually gave out some whitelist spots to the communities that we're featuring in the jewels. So like the Monkeys community, Metropius, Slimy Snails, Campfire, Frosty, and I might be missing one other one. But with those, Cloudheads. Cloudheads, can't miss them. So they're each going to have, it's not enough to like sell out the AVAX side at all, but it's just enough to kind of give those communities an extra chance to make sure they get to mint, which would be awesome to bring in a lot of new users into the Potluck family. So we're excited about that. But you still have time till tomorrow at 8 p.m. Typically at 7, we're given an extra hour. So 8 p.m. UTC on Wednesday is the cutoff for whitelist spots. So to get a whitelist, you either need to own one of Sick Individuals 101s on Fantom, you need to own a Platinum Pass or an Ultimate Pass, or you can buy them for 500 labs on our website. And so each pass you hold or each 500 labs you spend gets you one whitelist spot to mint one NFT in the pre-sale. So if you're like, man, I'm going to mint, this is only 30 Fantom, I'm going to mint 10 of these. There's so many attributes, so many traits I want, I'm going to mint 10. Well, if you want to guarantee that you can mint 10, you're going to need to have that in the pre-sale. So make sure you have 10 spots. If you have a Platinum Pass, man, that gets you a whitelist spot in every Fantom mint that we have. So just hold one of those, and every week you're getting a spot. So, 900 on Fantom at 30 Fantom each, and about 860 or so, or no, I'm sorry, maybe 840 or so will be public mint. There'll be about 60 airdrop to the Ultimate Pass holders. And then on AVAX, there'll be 300 available at 0.5 AVAX. And these are omni-chain layer 0 NFTs. So it's not two separate collections, but it's one collection of 1,200 that's the mint is split between two chains. But to make it even better minting experience, the Fantom side all has the Fantom jewels. So the main jewel that the character is holding, the 8 different projects that there are tributes to, the main Fantom jewel, those are only mintable on the Fantom side. And then the AVAX jewel and all the AVAX tribute pieces are all only going to be minted on the AVAX side. But then you will be able to bridge or traverse your NFT back and forth. You'll be able, upon sellout, to stake it on the Fantom side through Potluck Labs and earn Fantom Fang LP. You'll also, with any NFT you hold, if you own any Potluck NFTs, go to our website, potluck-labs.com, go to the labs section, claim your labs, and basically all it does is kind of registers those NFTs in your wallet, and passively, you don't have to stake them, they stay in your wallet. Passively, you're earning labs tokens that anytime you want to buy a whitelist spot or enter a raffle or a game night competition, anything where you have labs to be used for, or minting our Potluck Invaders NFT, you can go claim your labs. And anytime you buy new ones, you have to update and claim so it starts tracking those. So yeah, I wanted to give, because we're getting a lot of questions about labs use cases and how it works. People actually put a little LP on labs, even though we told them not to, and somebody just bought like 90 Fantom worth of labs this morning, so to get 700 labs. So I guess they paid more than you would pay for a Platinum Pass to get enough to whitelist once. So to avoid people doing those things in the future, you just kind of got to understand how the system works. So that's this week, and then next week we have the Bot Squad chickens. As soon as the mint's done Friday, you know how we just turn our attention to the next big project, spotlighting the next big artist, and Bot Boy has truly delivered a masterpiece. And then after that, we're going to have the Potluck Realm Elves, and then after that, the Arbiters of the Deep. And that's all I'm going to reveal so far. But you have any thoughts on those projects or what's coming?
Yeah, I'm super excited for all this stuff. For me, it's like I'm excited about the labs utilities. Because it's crazy, like the auction that we had for the jerseys with the labs token, like that was just a wicked opportunity. Yeah, it comes down to like we're collectors building this, like, so, and we ape our projects, so like we want to see the value of our NFTs and everything go up as much as everybody else does. So we're constantly just looking at any way possible to add utility, to add value to the NFTs, to bring value to communities. And I just really appreciate everybody's support.
Definitely. And I don't think many people saw this because we didn't like tag people. But if you go to the Labs guide in our Discord and check out the Bot Squad chickens, or Bot Squad Lab guide, incredible. He just put up this preview piece the other day of the chicken farmer, like the Fang chicken farmer. It's epic. I freaking love it. So excited for that collection and everything that's to come with that. But yeah, we're just going to keep building, keep doing what we're doing. Super excited. We had a great meeting with XP, the bridge, this morning that's going to allow us in the future here to not only be able to bridge between EVM compatible chains, but also to non-EVM compatible chains. So just throwing a little alpha out there. You take this for what it is, but we'll be able to bridge to and from Tezos, to and from Sol.
Potentially right on our website.
Yes, right on our website, we'll be able to do it. You won't even have to go anywhere else. You'll be able to do it straight on Potluck's site. So exciting things happening there. Also, we just signed an agreement with Chainlink to use a few of their functions, and I think we'll hopefully be the first NFT project. And actually, one from the head of marketing for Fantom said that we will be the first project, period, if we implement it this next week, to utilize one of their functions that just became available on Fantom. And what it's going to do, just any partnership with Chainlink is a big deal. When Chainlink's tweeting out to their 800,000 followers things about your project, when they're writing blogs about you, that's going to be big for us. But also the Fantom Foundation is making an extreme effort, or a conscious effort, to have partnerships like this, and especially with Chainlink. And so I think it's going to be great for the Potluck Labs family. And if you hold our NFTs, all of this is hopefully to bring more people into the ecosystem so that your NFTs go up in value. That's the goal of all the work. But it's also part of their features are going to allow us to do some really unique mints that have never been seen on Fantom. And so I'm very excited. Can't give away any more alpha, but fun things are coming. The last thing, I know a lot of people have been waiting for a Creatures of the Cave 2, build your own creatures. Triton, who's the dev on that, has been really busy with things like bobbleheads and then their own, like the Phantom Drugs, like the different projects they're building. But he's on the home stretch here. He had to take a week or two off just for I got to kind of unwind from this. But now he's on the home stretch, and this build your own NFT functionality, burn to build, is going to be hopefully revolutionary and a ton of fun for mints going forward. So yeah, there's a little bit or a lot of alpha. You take it. I think that was a lot of alpha we just dropped. Also, we have an awesome project coming out in this summer with Tunch and Illuminati Congo. Very excited about that. And I think this would be the first time to ever drop this info. But we also will be releasing Cosmic's, Teens' partner, Cosmic Friend, will be releasing her generative debut as well. So this summer is going to bring some great stuff. So, man, we're not scared of the bear market. We're here to build in the bear. And, man, just so excited, so grateful for our community. So, Tinfoil, I think that's good. I think we're out. We good?
Done. Love it.
All right. Awesome. For Tinfoil, Plot Twist in the background, making this all happen. Myself, True Voodoo here. It's been another great episode. Be sure to like, share, go on Twitter, share this, tag the different projects that we talked about, get the word out there to both the Fantom and AVAX community, especially.
The one thing I do want to mention, feel free to take clips of this. Get clips out on Twitter, because if you want to watch this and take little 2-minute clips and get them on Twitter, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I personally don't even know how to edit and make a clip, or I would totally do that. So you all in the audience, you with the skills, do it. All right. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.